Welcome, these website builders.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back. How's everybody today? Who's in the chat? Regulars. The regulars are back for more merch. Speaking of which, merch in the house.
Cups. We have to do the drink as well.
Yours looks back to front, I think, on this. I don't know if it does on YouTube, but
what does it look like?
Looks back to front, like your t-shirt and everything. But I think that might be fine. No, it's back to front on YouTube as well. Anyway, don't worry about that. So yeah, welcome. We've got Bill, we've got Birdie, we've got Daniel, we've got Adrian, we've got Brian back, Tim. A bunch of merch winners in there. We haven't seen your merch yet. Flash your merch. So today's show, we are talking about, well, we've got a case study. 1301.
I thought you forgot then.
No, I'm not. I just scuppered myself a little bit. But yeah. 1301, 200,000 words, 41,000 page views in 7 months. So it's like a specific, one of our case studies that we've got to share with you today, which I think you'll find interesting. We've also got a domain from our inventory that's available to purchase on our site. It's another one of those ones where Adam and I took a deeper look just before the show, and now we want to keep it for ourselves again, but we can't because we've got nothing else to share with you. So yeah. So it's a really good domain, actually. It's not particularly high DR, but the opportunity is massive from what we've seen, and super low competition. So hope you like that. Otherwise, how's it going with you, Adam?
Good, not too bad. I've got a bit of a cold, so if I start sneezing or coughing or just looking like I'm death warmed up, that's what it is. Basically, I've got a massive cold.
To be fair, yes, you're sounding a bit better than you were half an hour ago. That's good. Yeah,
definitely. I did a bit of golf on the weekend, first time ever as well. Went to the golf range.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, what inspired that? That was very random. What?
I don't know. Just thought so we dropped I dropped Jess and my wife and Parker off to this Disney event thing. They would go into this event. I was like, what can I do for 2 hours? That's around there. I looked online. It was a golf range nearby. So, all right, never done it before. And turns out I'm a pro. Like, I'm a natural, to be fair.
I've got a video, and I'm not sure about that.
I'm not even kidding. There's a guy next to me, and he was like fully kitted out. He had like his own clubs. He had a golf glove on, and I was smashing him like straighter, further. I could see him. He was eyeing me up, but he was thinking like, I need him on my team or something. But
you said no, right?
Yeah, well, he didn't actually ask, but I would have said no. So
awesome. I don't know any particular to report this week. What I'm learning more about NFTs is that you generally get a rarity tool that comes out after they've been launched, so you can work out how rare your NFT is. So I'm waiting for that to come out for the NFTs that I bought. So we'll save that for the Thursday show. Maybe I'll know how rare my NFTs are.
You got your NFT though, didn't you? Which one did you get?
I got a Bobby Firmino, which is in I can't remember what it's called, like leisure mode. So it's basically in his normal clothing, and then I got Jurgen Klopp in superpower mode, which is about as good as it gets.
A good one, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think there's 3 modes. There's like match mode, leisure mode, and then like superpower mode. And I think the superpower modes are the most rarest from one article that I read. But then it depends on the attributes as well. So it depends on the color of the background, like what his head's doing, his face is doing, like he's spinning a ball, which I think is quite common. But like it depends on all the combination of the attributes as to how rare it is, I think. So, but yes, of the two, if I wanted to get one, it would have been Mo Salah or Jurgen Klopp in superpower mode. So I've got that at least. So we'll see.
Can you see how much? I know you paid $75 for them. Can you see how much they're worth anyway? How do you know? How do you know if you've made any money on them or not?
Well, there's marketplaces like is it OpenSea? Is it called?
Okay, so you'd have to list it and see.
Yeah, so I guess you can see what they go for. Lastly, I guess you can see what others have gone for. to get an idea. But I think you want to know how rare your item is before you probably list it, because people will be selling and buying in the dark. So
yeah.
you probably want to. Like, I know people. So I saw some people selling them straight away as soon as they got them, and people were buying them. I don't know what prices or anything. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah,
Still come to it. We'll do. Okay. So if you're new around here, welcome. Please like and subscribe the show. The more we like to subscribe, the more people that get to see us, courtesy of the YouTube algorithm, and that means that we can make the shows bigger and better, and bring you more, hopefully. What I would also say is the other reason for liking the video is because there's a merch giveaway. Merch giveaway at the end of the show if we get to 35 likes for the show whilst it's live. So we're at 21 already, so it's a good start. So yeah, once we get to 35 at the end of the show, we'll do the giveaway. If you're new around here also, this is one of 3 streams every week. We do on Tuesdays, Age Domain Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have the Niche Lifestyle Show, which is a show that we rotate on 3 different YouTube channels: Alex Cooper on WP Eagle and Doug Cunnington's channel. So it's the same show, but we just rotate it each week. This week, it is on our channel. So same place, but an hour earlier than today. And then on Thursdays, we have the Website Investing Show also. So I can tell you what we're doing for this upcoming show this week. We're doing everything you need to know about display ads with Tyler Bishop from Ezoic.
Yeah. I've got some interesting questions I want to ask him already. How does loads of stuff?
Yeah, get the question. So if you're on our mailing list, or if you're in our social media, you'll have seen some posts or an email about where you can submit some questions. So get them submitted in advance. And tomorrow's show, the Niche Lifestyle Show on our channel, is building an online community. That's the topic for tomorrow. Speaking of questions, ask questions throughout. We'll happily answer questions throughout the show. We generally pick them up as we go, and then also try and pick up any stragglers at the end. So feel free to ask your questions now, and as I say, we'll pick them up as we go. But with that said, should we talk first about the case study, Adam?
Yes. So hot on the trail of last week's, I have a fancy presentation to run through. So yeah, so with this case study, we're just going to run through kind of the strategy. We used a couple of different types of keyword research methods, so what they were and kind of how we used them. And then in this case, it's always good to look back on a project and see what could have been done differently, what could have been done better. And I think we've got some nice insights to share on here of what we might have done differently going, if we'd done this site again, or if we'd done the keyword research for this site again. But how, when we look at the domain that's up for sale in our inventory currently, the same methodology can be applied to that one, but we can see it working so much better. So I don't think it was, that probably sounds really cryptic. It'll all make sense as we go through, essentially. But hopefully you get lots of value out of this, and any questions you have as we go through, then just pop them in the chat. Should we get rid of me and you? Oh, that's not it.
Oh, you've gained us.
There we go. Cool. So this is a website that we built on an age domain. We 301 redirected in another age domain that was really, really relevant, like almost 1-to-1 match relevancy. And then we added 200,000 words of content across 149 posts. So I'll break down all of that as we go. So these numbers are not quite right because this is the domain after we've redirected the other domain into it. But as it currently stands, it's a DR24, has 562 referring domains. It's about 8 years old. So, it's not an extremely powerful age domain. It's not like a DR40 or 50. It's just a kind of, I think it was low 20s, maybe high teens before we did the redirect. So good platform to build off, decent amount of referring domains. This is one of the things where we kind of always talk about as well, like third-party metrics, and especially one around trust flow. Like a trust flow score of 7 is, I mean, it's not super low, but it's not super high. But this it worked out really well in this case. So I think we've mentioned it loads of times. All of these third-party metrics, you kind of have to take in with the bigger picture of everything. So even if it's got a low trust flow, for example, that's not the be-all and end-all of it.
I said before, I don't really trust flow so much at the bottom level of
Yeah.
the scale as much as at the top end of the scale. But
yeah, for sure. So, let's cut off a little bit. These are an example of a couple of the referring domains that go to it. So some nice high DR sites here. We've got Stitcher, Bustle, something from Groupon, Telegram. So a decent range of kind of high authority editorial type links as well. And also a bit further down with lower authority, there was a nice amount of relevant referring domains as well. So we've got some high authority and relevant domains, referring domains for this project. And this is what the keyword research. So in this project, we use 3 different types of keyword research, which is interesting for us because normally we use 1 primarily, or we'll use 2, but in this case we use 3. So we use the tomb raiding method. The people also ask questions from Google method, and the location-based method. I'll run through what each of those are in a little bit more detail on how we do them on the next slide. But essentially, the site was launched with 100,000 words of content, and that was split 35% people also asked questions. So, or, 0 search volume or low search volume, long tail questions taken from people also asked boxes, and 65% location based. And then later on from there, we added another 2 rounds of content, 2 times 50,000 words, so another 100,000 in total, all using our tomb raiding method. And I've put this little table over here. In the chat, because I'll pull this out later, it'll be interesting to, how many of you get this right. What percentage of the traffic do you think comes from each of these three keyword research methods? So do you think it's people also ask drives the most traffic, location-based, or tomb raiding? Just pop it in the chat which one you think, and I'll reveal all later on in the presentation.
Oh, you tease.
I know, because this is one of the good insights, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. So tomb raiding method, we've talked about this before. We've got a blog post about it and a blog and a video on our website. And essentially, this is where we look for websites that are in the same space, covering the same topic or in the same niche as our website. And then from there, we pull out some domain metrics, so UR and DR, trust flow, citation flow, etc. And we add them all up to give us an overall kind of score for the domain. And by score, I mean we're literally just looking at the backlink profile, essentially, the authority based on kind of these third-party link metrics. And then we add our domain in there as well, and we do the same thing. And we order that list highest to lowest. And what we end up with is kind of like a landscape of where our site sits in kind of the environment, really. Like, do we have lots of weaker competitors? Do we have lots of stronger competitors above us? And then once we have that list and we know where we are, everyone who's below us in that list, we can then start looking at what their best performing content is. And we're looking for outliers. So we're looking for weaker sites that are driving lots and lots of organic traffic. And the reason that we look for those is we know that if they're weaker than us and they've got a low DR rating, but they're driving a ton of traffic, they've either done a really good job of their keyword research and they've gone after really good keywords, or they've done a really good job of their content that they've created, and Google loves the content, loves the structure, loves the topics they've covered. And then the whole tomb raiding part is we go through that list, we identify who those weaker competitors are, and then we pull out their best performing content, and then we make that into our plan. So we end up with a list of topics that we know we're doing well for sites that are weaker than us. And if we do the same content but a little bit better, we always round the word count up, so we cover it a little bit more in depth. And we've got a better domain, then over time we should be able to take a good chunk of that traffic from them. The PPA method, the people also ask method, is a little bit different. We don't typically tend to use any Ahref or any tools like SEO tools for this. So if we, in this case, what we do is it's essentially extracting hundreds or even thousands of questions from Google people also ask box. So if you Google almost anything, you get that little box that comes up which says people also ask, and usually you get 3 questions. But if you click each one of those, it opens up another question below it, and that can go on, I think, almost indefinitely. Like, you can keep clicking here and it'll keep adding more questions, but the more you click and the more questions appear, the less relevant they get. So the way that the methodology that we use for this is we gather a list of seed keywords, so the kind of the top level keywords that we want to cover or what the niche is about, and then we Google them. And then we use SEO Minion, and that's a little Chrome extension. And basically what it allows you to do is automate the opening of those questions to generate more. And you can set how many questions deep you want to go. And then it'll download each one of those into a spreadsheet. Combine them all into a spreadsheet and remove the duplicates. And typically, if you've done the first bit right, you'll end up with, a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand questions. And then from there, this is a really important part, is you Google each one of the keywords and you have a look to see what the results show. Are the results that show up related to the question, or are they not, and that question is just covered in part of a bigger article? If it's covered in part of a bigger article, you just delete it, because there's no way that if you write a piece of content on that, Google is going to show you for it, because that's not what the search intent is. It's a smaller part of a bigger topic. But if you Google the question and you find maybe 1 or 2 pieces of content that target it specifically, and you find a Quora or a Reddit or a forum result on page 1 as well, then usually that's a really good sign that it's Google is looking for an answer, can't find an answer. It's showing forums or Quora or Reddit. But there are a couple of sites that are targeting it specifically. And what you usually end up with is like a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand questions, comes down to like 100 or 150 if you've done it right. It's a bit of a time-consuming process, because you've got to Google each one and you've got to check the SERPs and you've got to match it and you've got to delete and make a decision call. But it's a really good way of finding low competition keywords without using expensive tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush. It's almost going back to basics and just looking at what's ranking on page 1. And then the last method we used is location-based. So this specific niche has lots of in-person events throughout the year. And we use the following steps to identify the opportunities. And I'll show you this again for the domain that we're going to cover later. But essentially, it's make a list of all the top-level events. The one we're going to look at later is go-karting. So it'd just be like go-karting. That would literally be the event, is go-karting. And then get a list of all the US cities and states, and append like go-kart in New York, go-kart in Las Vegas, go-kart in whatever that event is to the city and state. And then run them through Ahrefs to identify the search volume. So are people searching for, in this case, it might be event plus location, and then manually verify, in this case, that there is an in-person event in that location, because sometimes people do search for events that don't exist. So you just have to manually verify that. And I won't spoil it, but in this niche, I think we could have done something a little bit different with the location-based topics. And I'll explain why later on. I'm giving loads of teasers today, loads of teasers. So they were the 3 different types of keyword research methods that we went through. And then this is how the site was structured. And again, I think we've talked about this before, but essentially the homepage layout, the category page structure, and the menu structure when we build on an age domain is really important for us. We want the homepage layout to link through to the category pages, because the homepage is almost always the most powerful page with an age domain, and you want to pass that power throughout the site. So you want it to link through to your category pages. On the category pages, we also want to have, we want them to be, we use custom category pages because we don't want any pagination. Did I say that right, Mark? Or pagination? I never get it right.
Pagination, yeah, that was right. You did get it right.
Cool, yeah. So there's no pagination. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the traditional or the standard WordPress category pages, if you've got like 100 pieces of content on there, typically it'll show like 10 per page, and you have to scroll to the bottom and click next page, next page. What that does means, what that means is the site has a really high click depth, and that just means how many clicks away from the homepage is a piece of content. So if you think something is on page 10 of that pagination, to go to that from the homepage, you have to click on the category page, then page 1, page 2, page 3, etc., all the way to page 10. And it could be 10 clicks away from the homepage. If you don't have it set up like that and you have it all on one page, everything is only 2 or 3 clicks away from the homepage. So the whole site has a really low click depth. So in this case, and in the case with all of our age domains, that's the way the site was structured, and that's the way that the site was set up. Yeah. So I talked about a 301 redirect as well. So the site was launched in end of July, beginning of August, and then in early November, when we were looking for domains, one came up that was hyper relevant, like the exact same space, the exact same topic. And we reached out to the customer and said, look, this domain is coming up. It's awesome. It'll be an awesome fit for your website. Are you interested? And he obviously said yes. So we created an acquisition page and technically implemented the 301 redirect in early November. And I pulled up the screenshot from Ahrefs, and you can basically see since early November, the number of referring domains has more than doubled essentially. And that's the effect of the 301 redirect. We talked about this on our live stream last week, the acquisition page. So I'm not going to go through this in great detail. If you want to learn about how we do the whole redirect, what the acquisition page looks like, what's covered, then go and watch last week's episode, because we spend a good amount of time covering that. But we use that method to do the redirect. We set up the acquisition page and set up the internal links through to the existing content. In this case, we didn't even need any new content because the domain was so hyper relevant. We could literally internal link through to all of the existing content. And this is what the timeline looked like. So the site was launched in August with 100,000 words of content. And then nothing was done till November, where another age domain was redirected in. And then in February, we added another 50,000 words. And in March, another 50,000 words. So there's a good chunk of time here where there was kind of no activity. And we'll have a little look from the Google Analytics screenshots in a bit. I do think the customer waited a little bit long to start adding more content with an age domain, especially if you're going to go to the effort and cost of acquiring another domain, like to redirect in. You probably want to start adding content sooner, especially as we saw kind of the site taking off and those green shoots growing. So the only downside to this website, I think, is the growth has been stunted a little bit by not adding content or more content sooner. But this is the way that was set out, and that was the schedule.
Don't go to the next slide yet.
Okay.
Because this is the reveal of you on the next slide, I think. So good chance just to go through some of the things that on the chat. So Birdie was saying I'm going to put the likes up to 100 in Bill's saying we'll put the likes up to 100 in a couple of months. Damn straight, we'll up to a few thousand if we can. That's the goal.
Yep.
Adrian's in love with the merch, which is good. You know what? Adam and I both aren't cap guys, so we didn't get a hat, but I will get a hat, and then at least I can show it off on the stream for those people that are hat. Actually, I do quite like hats, just I'm not really a cap person, but we'll get one. I'll get one. Bill, sorry, it's on the way. I'm pretty sure it's on the way. We'll get Chris to make sure it's on the way, but it should be on the way. You can take your shotgun down the right cold frame. And okay, hello there. I don't know if I ever should mention your first name. I know your first name, but obviously because we sent you merch now, but I never know where we should say it. So I always say El Couch. It sounds very impersonal. Right? Okay, so here's the answers. Here's the guesses. So Daniel thinks that location-based was the best. Tim thinks people also asked. We've got a difference of opinion there. Bill has given us an order. People also asked. Then tomb rating, and then location-based. And then Dimitri straight in with the tomb rating. So who's got it right, Adam?
Are we going to do a bit of a drum roll? We should get the music on. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we can't do sound effects, can we? Wish we could. Otherwise, we'd have the drum roll.
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Here we go. So people also ask questions. So this is over the last 30 days, and there are some caveats because I'll cover the caveats in a second. But the last 30 days, people also asked questions, accounted for 17% of the total content and drove 5% of the traffic. The location-based was 33% of all content, but only drove 1% of the traffic. And then the tomb rating method was 50% and drove 94%. So Who got that right?
Dimitri.
Dimitri was the only one, essentially. But there is some caveats, and I think there is some reasoning behind here. So the first one is, why is the location-based only 1% of traffic when it's 33% of the content? One, this is an in-person event where literally thousands of people meet up together, and I think it's been massively impacted by COVID. So I don't think these events have been running at all. In fact, I don't even think they're back running now currently, when I had a little look just before this. So no events are running, which is one thing. And then the other thing, where I think we could have done something slightly different here, is these location-based events. It's one event in a location, but it only happens like 2 or 3 times a year in that one location. And we thought that if we covered enough kind of locations, and it happens 2 or 3 times a year in each location, we'll be able to like flatten out any seasonality. So we've got, one location in January, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. And then we've got another location which is, beginning Q2 and Q3, for example. So the fact that doesn't, well, I don't know if it's because of COVID. I don't know if it's because of the seasonality hasn't kicked back in yet because of that. But I do think we could have probably done something a little bit different in terms of location-based content. Probably could have come at it from a different angle rather than looking at events that only happen 2 or 3 times a year. We could have looked for events potentially that were evergreen instead. So that's definitely a
limiting factor, unless it's a huge event, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these are huge events. Like some are really big, and I've got no doubt that when they do come back, like the site will be primed for it. And the other good thing about the location based here, because it's location based, it's not yet, but it'll be monetized with affiliate commission as well from the likes of Booking.com. So people book in hotels. You can look at flights as well because people travel all over this. It's an event where people dress up as well. So you've got affiliate commission for kind of people looking for dress ideas, etc. So even though the percentage of traffic is still low, I think the opportunity to make affiliate commission there is higher than it would be for display ads if you looked at it on a purely like RPM basis as well.
Yeah.
And then looking at PPA questions, 5% of traffic. Now, when I pulled this data together, I thought PPA questions would have been a lot higher than that. And Tomb Raiding would have been almost 50-50 between PPA and Tomb Raiding. But what I think's happened here is Tomb Raiding worked very well because it's been primed by PPA questions. So when we have a look at the analytics chart, bearing in mind that this Tomb Raiding content didn't really go live until February and March, and we'll have a look at that in a second. The initial growth of the website has all come from the PPA questions. And I feel that that's probably done a good job of building topical relevancy, topical authority. Even if it's not massive high search volume and driving tons and tons of traffic, I do think it's almost primed the website for the Tomb Raiding content, which came next.
Yeah.
Which looks like this. So you can see here the site was launched and didn't really do a ton to start with. And then it started picking up traction in December and January. And then you can see that it was on an upward trajectory into February. And then kind of around mid-February and mid-March is where the new content was added. So it was on that upward trajectory, which is why I think the PPA questions started kicking in there and started having an impact and just primed the website. And then we can see here it's just recently had its highest day. That was about 2,500 page views back there. So March was 42,000 page views. April estimate based on the first 11 days so far is 51. So still growing. It looks like it's going to grow 20% again this month on last month.
And the tomb raiding method is awesome. Just is, right? We've seen lots of good results from it. I use it a lot for my own sites now. It's my go-to actually, to start with, and then look at other things beyond that. But it's my go-to method these days.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just to say the other thing to point out here is I know that just looking at kind of Dimitri's comment here, I wish my website would get the same results soon. I think for others as well who are in this journey, like if you have a look at the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of this website, like, and this is on an age domain with another age domain redirected in, like literally did very little for the first 5 months of its life. So don't get disheartened if you're not seeing results straight away. Like it does come, and usually what you see is kind of like that exponential. So January was like a couple of hundred, February was close to 1,000, March is 1,500, and then April is like breaking the 2,000 a day barrier then. So it does come quick when it comes.
Yeah. And if you're starting on a fresh domain, expect to be waiting a lot longer than that. So
Exactly.
more like a year just sitting there, yeah. For anybody, we did talk about the team rating technique quite a bit on the channel. We've mentioned it a few times, I think, but we've got a specific episode next week on the niche on the website investing show. So next Thursday, building your keyword list with team rating SEO is the topic. So
yeah,
if you want to learn a bit more about that, we'll be doing that next week.
What would be cool is if anybody has a well, you'd have to be willing to share what the URL was, or maybe not. If anybody's willing to share with us the niche they're in, we would be happy to do a tomb raiding content plan for that website. We can cover it cover it on the show. So if you want us to do a free tomb raiding plan for you, you've got to be happy for us to obviously share what the competitor sites look like and kind of where you would be. We can take your URL out, but we share that. Then yeah, let us know. Be happy to do that for you.
We know that for one person, right?
Only one person, yeah.
We'll pick a box. Yeah, so not for everyone who sends it in. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to, like, send us a message on the chat on the Niche Website Builders website, or through the contact form. We'll pick it up.
Yeah, it can only be for established websites as well. Wow, great! Literally just going to cover this. So it can only be for established websites or websites age domains that have authority. It doesn't work on a fresh domain, unfortunately, because you've got no authority. You can't find weaker competitors that have.
Because you are the weakest competitor.
Yeah, you are the weakest competitor in terms of domain authority in that case. So no, and unfortunately, Daniel, has to be something with authority.
It doesn't have to be big. Like this, well, the domain that we're going to show you is a DR15. The competitor, the one from our inventory that's coming up in a little while, is a 15. It's got a competitor that was a 9 until recently. That's doing getting massive results. The one that I've spoken about, the case study I've spoken about a few times, that started off as a 12 when I bought it, or 12 or 13 when I bought it, and it gets 350,000 sessions a month now after a year. So, and that was mostly tomb raiding kind of technique. So, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of authority, but it has to have some.
Yeah, exactly. This is just what Search Console looks like. So we can see a nice upward trend there. But again, like the first however long, you can see it was fairly flat, which is just common. And there's more growth to come in this website. So going back to the content that we added, 100,000 words has only been live, or 50,000 since February and 50,000 since March. So this site is still growing. And if we have a look at April versus March in Ahrefs, so positions April the 12th versus March the 12th, and we just look at new and improved, there's been over 5,000 keywords on new and improved. And if I look at some of the search volume on those, we've got 18,000 search volume coming in straight at number 8, like a new ranking for that. 2,500 position number 3, 5,500 position number 6, all new keywords. So this site now is just going to continue growing, probably faster than it's grown before. Maybe we'll come back in a couple of months and update what the traffic is looking like. But given the fact that all these new keywords are dropping in and all these keywords are improving in ranking, this site should just continue to improve now. Yeah.
The other place you can see that in Ahrefs, I always tend to look at more than this even, which seems
to be. Graph, is
it? Yeah, you look at. I mean, I don't even track keywords. I don't even track keywords for my sites pretty much. I just, but on the Ahrefs graph where it shows the number of keywords that are ranking, you kind of get a precursor to your future traffic from that. Because if you're seeing you're getting lots and lots more keywords in that, is it 10 to 100 kind of range?
Yeah.
Then if that graph is growing, it's kind of a precursor to that. Well, if you're getting lots and lots into that, they're probably going to start coming up into the top 10 and into the top 3 at some point as well. So if you see that trending upwards, but you don't feel like you're getting ranking for more keywords, but you're not getting the traffic yet, as long as that's trending up in a direction, it's probably yet to come. And if that flattens off, then you probably have maxed out and you need to do something else. But if that's trending upwards, it's probably you've got more keywords to rank and more traffic to come, I'd say.
Exactly. That's it. That's the end of the It's the end of my presentation there.
But homemade sound effect there.
Awesome.
Awesome. Great. So a couple of questions, I think. So is this buyer intent content or informational?
So it's all informational, but the location-based content does have the opportunity for affiliate. So like I say, it's location-based. So it's already written with people who might be looking for hotels in the area or might be looking for flights to travel to that event, etc. So primarily it's informational, but there is a little bit of affiliate potential there as well.
Cool. And yeah, as Adam said, looks like it's got potential for good things to come on that one. Yeah, it would be good to report back in a couple of. We're going to do that for all of our case, or many of our case studies, I suppose.
Yes.
Sort of do a revisit episode or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So how are we doing with the likes? We are at 31, so we're just 4 short now of.
How did we get to 20 so quick, and now we've just struggled to get to 31 now?
Same people, isn't it? I guess.
Same people. Yeah.
All right, we're getting there. Don't worry. That's fine. We've had more concerning results at this stage of the episode.
Yep.
So 4 more likes, and then we'll do merch at the end. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Do lots of these shows. We do 3 streams a week now, and also a podcast that comes onto our YouTube channel. So lots of hopefully valuable content. So yes, right. Should we move on to the domain?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
I was just saying you're going to kick us off on this one, I think, aren't you?
Okay, yeah. So right, yeah. So this is a go-karting domain.
By the way, there's an error on there. The competitor, the go-kart guide, is not a DR46. It's a DR13. It's a DR13.
And it was a DR9, so that is an error. Yeah, gokartguide.com should be a DR13 now. Is it 13? Did you say?
Yeah, 13,
it wasn't. Yeah. And when we first purchased this domain and wrote it up, this competitor was actually a 9. I think this graph even shows from probably when it was a 9. But we'll see that in a sec. So yeah, it's got some half decent referring domains, DR15, and as you can see, the traffic in SEMrush. Oh, that's the competitor, yeah. But well, I'll share my screen and we'll kind of start taking you through what we found. So, right, so. Just using Wayback Machine to take a look at the history of the domain. You can see that the domain actually kicked off in 2009. You can see here from the very first kind of screenshot that it was coming in the future. But there's not really much to report about this history, I'm afraid, because it pretty much stays the same for the entirety of its history. So if you've spoke to us, if you've seen us doing due diligence on age domains before, we tend to go through multiple screenshots of all of these years that the domains are in existence, just to check there's nothing in between, which is kind of which we would want to which we wanted to avoid. So but I've just done a few here because it doesn't change, so I'm not going to bore you with lots and lots of them. It's pretty much the same the whole way through. But yeah, it's actually a go-karting location, and I can't remember what the location actually was now. In the US, anyway. But yeah, it's a location for actually going and doing
California.
Oh, there you go. In Fairfield. I think it's Fairfield in California.
Looks like it.
Yeah, new track in Fairfield, 2 locations, and Ronut Park. Is that how you pronounce it? Oh, yeah, go California as well. So there you go. There's the 2 locations. If you take a look at it, as we mentioned, it's a DR15. I will, yeah. You can see here, like it kind of ended sort of in Jan 2021. What I did notice though, if I change the time frame here, even though it was in 2021, it was it ended. You're still ranking for keywords here, even within the last year. So which is a good sign. In terms of like historic traffic, there's nothing really to write home about, but it's not like it's tiny either. So it goes up to around 6,000 here, at its peak, which is probably 2 or 3 times higher than that, given that SEMrush generally underestimates. So might be talking 12 to 18,000 in terms of traffic. So that's pretty good. It's got some history. Google didn't hate it enough to just not give it any traffic at all. And if we look at the anchors, all branded anchors pretty much all the way down. We've got the electric cart here, which I kind of highlighted, but pretty much it's all driven raceway kind of stuff. We've got a few things like in here, but pretty much it's all because, which is totally fine. In terms of referring domains, got things like TripAdvisor, USA Today, CBS Local, ARP, Yellow Pages, Groupon. So a bunch of these are no follows, but there's a bunch of follows kind of in there as well. If I click this actually and look at the D follows. Ahrefs has been really slow the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Let's forget that. So, and there's probably a couple of pages that we'd want to recreate here as well. I won't spoil Adam's next piece, which is easy to talk about what we would do with the domain. But we've got a few pages here that we'd want to recreate potentially. So this one's talking about go-kart tracks in California and Fairfield, and then we've got go-kart rules, which would probably be a good one to recreate. Maybe timing systems, if you want to do something with timing system products, that might be one to recreate as well. And I mean, that's it. There's some go-kart race camps. We haven't really looked into that, whether that's a common thing or whatever, but there might be some content around there. I mean, there's only one link that we're talking about that we'd want to redirect in anyway, but in terms of kind of topical relevance and kind of resurrecting some of the topics that were in here before, but also just giving us ideas for keyword research, this is kind of a good place to look. And last but not least on this, if you take a look at the backlink analytics section here, you can kind of see what SEMrush thinks the site was about. You can see that it's mentioned a lot of kind of motorsport kind of topics here, which, given that the domain doesn't specifically talk about go-karting, it's driven raceway. I think, once you've kind of fleshed out the go-karting stuff, and if the site's growing and doing well and you want to branch out into other stuff, I think there's probably no reason why you couldn't potentially branch out into other motorsports as well, kind of in the longer term.
Yes.
So
I'll cover what we think we can do with it then, what we should do with the site.
Let's do it.
Cool. So, I pulled up our competitor, the Go-Kart Guide, and we can see in here in terms of these are the best performing pages. And the first thing I want to look at is they've got, the number one position, the number one page is best electric carts. And we go to the page. What's interesting is they list the carts, but they don't have any affiliate links set up for them. So I think they're missing a massive trick here. These literally just go to the website. There's no affiliate links in any of them. But when we did a little bit of searching, we found this affiliate program. So we've got they sell go-karts and they sell kind of dirt bikes and things like that. And these guys pay 3% of each sale, and these go are quite expensive, to be honest. So I definitely think there's opportunity for kind of like affiliate commission with carts specifically, and there's also another affiliate program here, and these sell kind of go-kart buggies and four-wheelers, etc. And this company pays 5% commission. So between 3 and 5% on the big items, I think is definitely achievable with programs like this. But then they also cover other things like racing engines, which are available on like Amazon. This one's $179. They do things like motor kits. This one is $199. So, and we can see that they've got electric motors. So it's their 7th best performing page there. So they've got some good opportunity here for affiliate content, probably better than what they're doing if you include the carts. But the main thing which I think is interesting about this website and kind of ties back to what we covered earlier in our case study about location-based is the power of location-based content. And this is a good example of that and the way I think that we would probably proceed with a good chunk of the content. So we can see that the top page number 4 here is Las Vegas. And if we look at it, it's best go-karting tracks in Las Vegas. And it lays out who they are, some details, a little bit about the facility and the track and the carts, hours, links to the website, etc. Some of the best performing pages on there are New Jersey and Houston and Louisville and Orlando and Myrtle Beach. And if we have a look, they're the same thing, essentially. It just lays out facility, racetrack, and go-karts. It's very structured. It's the same layout for each piece. And all you've got to do is kind of research what the go-karts are there, what the food and beverage is. Now, I do think we can probably do a better job than this, because when they cover these locations, all they do is cover the top 5 tracks. But if, for example, we look at Las Vegas, like they've covered 5 here, just a very quick search on Yelp shows that there's at least 8 tracks that we could cover. So we could create a piece which is the 8 best go-kart tracks and cover another 3 more, making our piece better, more in depth, just covering more locations. So I think that's probably the way to go with this website, would be location based. And what I've done is I think we can do it in 2 ways. Loaded up into Ahrefs, and I basically took go-karts and then I appended all of the cities in the US. So apparently, according to Wikipedia, there's 1,164 kind of main cities in the US. And of those, Ahrefs only has data for 513. But if we look at them, like the volume is decent, and the keyword difficulty low. So we've got lots and lots of opportunity here to create the same kind of structure, the same format articles for all of these different locations. So that would be the first thing I would love to do. And then once we have all of these location pages created, we could then go and look, all right, well, we've got our location page. What's going to be the pillar page for it? And then we could look at it by state. So I've done the same for state. So we could then have a go-kart Michigan page that lays out all the best places and internally links through to all of our city pages that are in Michigan. And I think that would be an awesome kind of pillar post, and then going through into the individual tracks. And that would basically be what our idea would be. We'd look at what the best performing content is in terms of commercial pieces. And then we'd also look at, all right, let's start working our way down this list of go-karts by location.
Yeah, it's a good search volume there as well, considering how low the
it's decent.
I mean, we always say take with a pinch of salt these keyword difficulty scores in things like Ahrefs, but we know that this domain, when we first looked at it, was a DR9, and it was ranked, and it had almost 200,000 according to SEMrush, in terms of traffic a month, and that's probably closer to 500,000, and it was a DR9, and mostly ranking for location-based stuff. So,
and definitely take it with a pinch of salt, because this top one, Go-Karts Las Vegas, is a keyword difficulty of 35. But the website is a DR13, and if we look at it, they're ranking position number 2 for that. So they're ranking number 2 for DR35 too. I think the main opportunity here is display ads based around location, and then built out with kind of commercial content around the fringe then.
Yeah. Sounds good. Just to share that screenshot as well on Ahrefs. Oh no, I've shared the wrong one there, haven't I? Yeah, I have. Hang on, I'll unshare. Let's go in this one. Get the vortex. Ooh. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's up to so around 175,000, and we know this is like.
Wait, what are you sharing now? You're not sharing anything. Now we've got the vortex. I'm going to turn that off. I don't know what you're trying to share. You've got too many screens open.
Well, I meant to share the vortex. So I was changing tabs. So it was supposed. Oh, I think I was on the YouTube. Don't worry.
Yeah, you were.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 175,000 currently. This go-kart guide.com competitor. Yeah, at least double that. Yeah, probably triple that. 2 to 3 times that. And you're probably looking at with the real numbers. So, and I can notice they're on media buying as well. So I mean, they're probably looking at least $4,000 or $5,000 a month in. It'd be $4,000 to $5,000 wouldn't be unreasonable for 2 to 3 times that. So they will have decent ad revenue, and they've got 295 articles on their site at the moment. It was about 259 when we first looked at it. So they're still building, they're still adding content. Probably like 15 pieces a month, something like that. But yeah, 295 articles is not a lot for that level of traffic. So all good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else to add on the domain before we kill it?
Nope. All good.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, I guess just to let you know that if you were interested in buying this, it's on our website. So you can literally go to the website and buy the domain and the package, and we build it for you, and we'll do all that research. And yeah, you can just buy it on our website today.
You can. First come, first served, though. If not, we might just keep it because we think that's got real potential. Right. I guess something we should mention that we haven't mentioned yet is the Building Empires event. We are running an online event between the 7th and 9th of June. You can go and register for free. If you take a look in the show notes, you'll be able to find the link to that. It's building.empires.live. Go register for free. We've got a whole bunch of people like speaking at the event, like Craig Campbell, just confirmed 100% that he's going to be able to do it today. We've got like Ricky from Income School. We've got Alex from WP Eagle. I won't go through them all, but if you go to building.empires.live, you'll be able to go and find all of the people that we've got currently signed up for the show. It's an online event, so you don't have to travel anywhere. You can just come visit. Excellent. And we have 36 likes.
Amazing.
So if you want to be part of the merch giveaway, then type something into the chat now, because that's the way it works. You'll have to type something, and if you type something in the next couple of minutes, then you'll be entered into the draw. Otherwise, you will not. So
while we do that, we'll go through a couple more questions.
Go for it.
How often do age domains never pick up traffic? I mean, when you build on an age domain, I think there's always some level of risk, right? It's really low, and we don't see very often, but there's always some level of risk. I
mean, you tell me if this is different. Like, we've done a lot of age domains. You tell me if I'm wrong on this. I mean, I don't know exactly what number now, but to say that for an age domain that never picks up traffic, I could think of one, and it's.
I think there's literally I think over 100. There's probably been about 2 or 3. I think.
Okay.
It's very, very low.
Okay. Yeah, so somebody's a YouTuber that we're kind of working with, which is kind of disappointing that the domain they picked. It seems dead in the water, but it's still early days, but early signs are not good, shall I say. But it doesn't happen a lot at all. You need to get something.
If that is the case, though, and like the other caveat with this is when you build on an age domain, okay, you've got the cost of a domain, but you've also got the cost of the content. You still have that content. And if on the very small percentage chances that there's something wrong with the domain, you can move that content over to another domain, be it a fresh domain or another age domain in the same niche if you can find one. So you don't lose that content is almost like a tangible asset. You don't lose that just because maybe the domain doesn't work out. You can always move it over anyway. So you don't. The only part of that investment that you would really lose is the domain, which is usually the smaller amount anyway.
And time. Like you time because you've waited and nothing's happened, and then you can stick it on a fresh domain, or sometimes you put it on a fresh domain and then look over time for one that you can 301 and redirect in the future as well. So definitely not all lost. I think that's a really good point, because a lot of people do think it's quite a big investment. It's like all or nothing. It's just not. Like, at the end of the day, the domain's probably a small part of the investment, and there are other ways you can repurpose that content for sure.
This is a really good question, Ravi. The images also need to be recreated for age domains. And the answer is it depends. But in, I think, like 99% of the cases that I've looked at and we looked at, the answer is no. Almost always, if you check the individual links that go to images, they're those scraper, spammy, horrible, annoying scraper-based websites that will... And if you look at it, they've got a piece of content, a scrape bits from everywhere, and your image is on there, and they're linking back to you from your image. So you don't even want that link, really. So there might be the odd occasion if you've got really unique imagery on the old domain, and someone's, it's almost like they've got an infographic, for example, and it went viral, and they got 300 links to that infographic. Then you would definitely want to do that. But 99% of the time, no, you don't really need to do anything with the images because they're all spammy links anyway.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have anything else to add there. And Adrian, do you offer the Tomb Raider method as a service for established sites? We do. So it's part of our content pack. So if you buy a content pack, part of that is that we do the keyword research for you. And if your site kind of fits into the bucket where we think it will be good for tomb raiding, then that's the research that we will do for you. So yeah, it's all part of like the end-to-end package, the keyword research, the content writing, the format and uploading, and the Tomb Raider bit comes in the keyword research. I don't know if how many comments have we got, Mark?
Not many people. It's gonna be keep going. We've got a couple more minutes. Let's type something into the chat. Anything. Hello, your merch sucks or whatever. Like put it into the chat. Because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. It's going to be into the draw. So,
Bill is dreaming about go-karts tonight. Yeah, me too, Bill.
I love go-karting.
Greg says, if a website has older pages that are not ranking anywhere near the top and these old posts are poorly created, can these pages drag the whole site down? So I think what you mean there, Greg, is you've got a website with maybe, I don't know, 100 pieces of content and 80 of them are not getting any traffic. Can that drag the whole website down? I don't know is the honest answer. I think it's a bit of a delicate balancing act because Google does say they treat your website as a whole now. They don't look at individual pieces of content. So if they deem overall you've got a massive amount of poor content on the website, will that drag it down? Potentially. But then you've also got to factor in that, again, because they look at the website as a whole, are those pieces of content, even if they are poor, are they building topical relevancy for you? I don't know is the answer. Although I do see that Ahrefs, and you could probably Google it, has an awesome guide on like, they've got literally like a decision tree kind of style logic, which you can follow to see whether you should keep a piece of content through and redirect it, improve it, or delete it. So if you do think that you want to do that, then I would definitely have a look at that Ahrefs guide and follow it. It's so easy. It's like, does it get any traffic? Yes or no? Yes. Does it get X amount of traffic? No. And you can just follow the decision tree then.
I mean, if a page, we got to think about it, if a page is getting no traffic anyway, if you look at Google Analytics, you're losing nothing by deleting it. And if anything, the crawl budget's going to be preserved then for the pages that are ranking or more chance of ranking. So yeah, if it's not ranking for anything and you're not getting any traffic, I think you can delete it quite happily, but you might want to look to optimize it, as Adam says.
Yeah, this is what Lawnlight says, and yeah, I definitely think it's a balancing act. There's pros to removing it because then your site's smaller. You've got a website that's just got really good content on there, and crawl budgets better. But then on the flip side, like how much topical relevancy are those pages adding? A little bit, none. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's going to be on case by case basis.
Yeah, I think. I like deleting it because I mean, I've got no particular evidence of this, but I also think that by having lots of good pages that rank, I feel like Google's going to view you more favorably than if you have like a lot of pages and some of them don't really rank. It's just going to view your site overall like, oh, this guy like writes a lot of good stuff because like, you know, a lot of a high percentage of pages we rank. That's just my kind of logic about like that kind of makes sense. But
yeah.
All right. Should we do the draw?
Yep, let's do it, man.
Can you get the music
on?
You
do the transition. I'll get the music ready.
Okay. I've got the names in already, so we're good. Here we go. What I forgot to do was actually transition though. So I need to do it again. Ready? Here we go. Oh no, wrong button.
Mate, what's going on?
Press the wrong button again. Here we go. Yes, just about. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of niche website builders. Got a lot of gardening stuff going on today. Lawn Right, Simply Gardening. Right, here we go. Chill.
Oh yeah, you increased it, didn't you? So it takes longer to spin. The suspense now. The suspense. Oh, it's probably going to be Greg, I think.
Greg. Eddie or Greg. Oh, Greg, it's Greg.
Just about.
Well done, Greg. Yeah, hit us up on the Niche website, Builders website at nichewebsite.builders. Chat to us. Go to the chat or hit us up on the contact form, and we'll be able to send you over some merch. Oh yeah, should I share the merch? We'll send
Mate, we're wearing it. What do you mean? We're wearing it.
Well, some of it. I'm showing some of it.
Merch, like the merch.
But yeah, you get your choice of t-shirt, color, and then you got different styles. So we've got like the full logo, we've got partial logo, we've got some mugs, and we also got caps, which we're going to get one. But yeah, that's the merch. Everyone's wearing it, you know.
Got two more questions, I think, before we go. Which is good. So Tony says backlink profile. Can you do a video about what's good, what isn't, and if you should disavow them? I don't think this is a me and Mark video, in all honesty, because disavowing links is a tricky. Is a minefield. We don't do it ourselves. We use Rick Lomas. He's like an expert at kind of toxic link profiles and telling you what you should and shouldn't disavow. Like, I don't do my own.
Try and get Rick on, maybe.
Yeah, we should try and get Rick on to cover this. But I definitely don't think it's a topic that me and Mark should cover, because we might end up saying disavow X, Y, Z, and then you might do that and have a horrible effect, because we don't do our own.
So. I don't know. We probably do a good job, but it's just laborious. It's a laborious task, isn't it? Well, it depends how many links you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, and interesting to get your idea on this, Mark, because we've talked about this, and we always just say, like, if a domain has got a trademark in place, will you get into trouble if you just 301 redirect it? I don't know. I think you probably have to speak to a trademark specialist. My gut is no. Like, I probably wouldn't want to do that anyway. I don't know. What do you think, Mark? Do you think there's risk?
You talk to some people that sell domains, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, it'd be fine." But like, I think you just have to talk to. I would talk to a solicitor. It might vary on the case and the type of copyright as well. So it could be a case by case basis. So I wouldn't want to say yes or no, like for sure. Like, get legal advice on that. We can't really speak on legal advice. So.
Cool. Do we have a link for Rick Lomas? What's his website? Because Tony wants a link. We do have it somewhere, I think, do we?
Yeah, I do. 1 second.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. Same for you, Adrian. Thank you very much. Have a good week yourself. Wait, what do you mean, have a good week? Are you not coming to our other live streams? What's wrong with you?
I've got, let's, drop us a message on our chat on our Facebook, and we'll kind of hook you up. I feel I've got a site, but it's definitely not his normal site. So it looks like it's his site. So, but yeah.
We've got his email address we can give you anyway.
We have as well, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's it. That's a wrap.
It is. Thanks again for joining. Enjoyed the chat. So see you again hopefully tomorrow, same place on this channel, an hour earlier for the Niche Lifestyle Show.
Doug and Alex.
And then on Thursday for the Website Investing Show. Same time, same place. Catch you again tomorrow. Bye.